all day for the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League. We're closing out our competition at the Watson Diesel Nationals with 2 heavy-hitting, smoke-blowing diesel truck classes. It's the season opening round for the Pro Stock and Limited Pro Stock diesel trucks, and both classes have deep fields of talented drivers with months of off-season prep work in the lead up to today's pull. Now, with freshly tuned equipment and retooled setups, who will step up and make their mark early in this season opener? Round 1 starts now. We welcome you to the General Tire Watson Diesel Nationals presented by Rhino Ag. We're at Howard County Fairgrounds in Greentown, Indiana. And you're watching the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League. Ken Stout and Leslie Mears here to call the action for you. We've got some great truck pulling coming your way, courtesy of the diesel trucks, the Limited Pro diesel trucks, and the Pro Stock diesel truck.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting to kick off the event here with our Limited Pro diesel trucks. Just a really cool category, 8,000 pounds. They run an OEM chassis. Of course, you can see those DOT tires, which is something I always fixate on. I love to see the different patterns that the guys run to try to get that power into the ground.
Let's kick it off here with Garrett Locks and the unlock. Few little hops there right at the very end for the Duramax, and he'll end up with a number of 315 and 83.
Yeah, great effort to kick off the class here, despite those few little bobbles at the beginning. Here's a look at our lineup, and it is a tough group out here. Adam Halian and the Wrecker, always tough to deal with, the most hated truck of CW Cartmel. We've also got Kenny Smith, Kenny's pulling parts, Adam White driving the Hill Brothers this weekend, and reigning Midwest champ coming at you, Ben Broniker in there, and we will end the night with Evan Davis and the gray area.
Next up will be Joe Hill and the Dirt Gobbler. Another one of the GMCs inside of the field here. Well, and these things just look like an old school locomotive, man. A huge trail. A big black smoke. It looks so cool. The distance here, 3:12 and 15 for Joe Hill. Finally pulled that one down under the turbos. We take a look at the points and how they ended up in 2019. You were speaking of Ben. There he is at the top.
Yeah, he worked really hard to get to that top spot, and I know Austin White was chasing him all season there in the secondhand smoke. It was great to see Corey Baker out there, girls' night out, solid efforts all year long, ended up third, and Tim Tuttle and Wildside rounding out your top 5.
Flagman down there at the end of the track, signifying that the course is green. John Hump coming up here next. Troublemaker 2. 3 trucks and all 3 Duramaxes here to kick off the category. 315 and 65. That will be just a tick short of the lead.
Yeah, and John's a really competitive guy. He's got several diesel trucks in several classes as well.
You mentioned Adam Halian being one of the players inside of this category, driving a truck called the Wrecker, and Leslie spoke to him earlier.
It's been a year in the making to get the new and improved Wrecker to the track. And so, Adam, you're making the move here from a 12-valve to a common rail. And so what were kind of some of the decisions behind making that big move?
Honestly, a lot of guys that have done it seem to be doing pretty well with it. And just like with anything, I mean, wires always make everything from your smartphone to everything better. So we're trying to get smarter with it. We're trying to take a plunge into this aspect of doing common rail, first time ever, and it's been a it's been a hard learning curve so far, and we're just, I don't know, we're going to see how it works, I guess. I'm trying.
Well, whatever it is that he's trying, it certainly seems to be working here as we have a brand new leader by a bunch, 327 and 75.
And he was actually making adjustments to his tune-up, and he told me that's the biggest thing, is that he just doesn't want to rely on a mechanical pump to go out there and just flood the engine with fuel. He wants to control how that fuel gets into the engine and helps him create power. And so he said that he's got that ability now, but he said one thing he's worried about is making too many adjustments to try to fine-tune it along the way. He said it could just be too many numbers and too many things to look at once.
Baby steps are your friend for sure. As we continue on here, Brian Shue and this truck called the Iron Maiden out of Columbia City, Indiana. Going to fall in line right behind Adam Halian, 327 and 43. It's about 3 inches or so short of the lead.
And not surprising here, this track at Greentown is a similar consistency to the one we see in Terre Haute, especially at this point. It's a little bit dry on top. These DOT tires really like it, and the Iron Maiden truck usually performs well in Terre Haute at the Scheid Diesel Extravaganza. So taking a little bit of that knowledge from one pull, applying it to the next to make good power.
A couple different series out there, and yeah, that's one of the big hooks, as you just mentioned there before, where they all get together and throw down. There's a look at your top 3, but we're just getting warmed up.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by General Tire. Anywhere is possible. K&N. Superior airflow, superior performance. And by Lucas Oil. Keep that engine alive.
We're at Howard County Fairgrounds in Greentown, Indiana for the General Tire Watson Diesel Nationals presented by Rhino Ag. Special thanks to the people at Watson Diesel for their support, and of course the promoters here really sneaking this one in last second. Here comes one of the players in the category, C.W. Cartmill, the most hated. I saw it as I sailed by at about 30 miles an hour, 336 and 61, nearly 10 feet on our leader.
Yeah, he's coming off a great weekend of hooks in Mound City, Missouri, where he had a 3rd and a 5th out there. A beautiful straight hook. And look, the Geico box tops off, and then he just keeps on sailing. A tribute to the ground speed that he built up off the starting line with that awesome hole shot out there and just kept on lugging and chugging. There is a lot of track out here for these guys.
And that's what you see in this class. You'll think you've seen a really, really good hook, and then all of a sudden somebody like that will come out here and just slaughter the entire group. It's amazing what happens when they really get the sweet spot on this truck and they sail out. Here comes Trevor Lordy. Dirty Secret. So simple and clean. The truck looks awesome, and he goes 319 and 62. Really solid effort there as well.
Yeah, good looking run for the Power Stroke. And that's what I love about this category is the fact that you can have the Duramaxes, the Power Strokes, and the Cummins all very competitive in this field. It doesn't happen that way in other diesel truck categories.
Frank Kruger coming up here next with the truck in white. chugging hard right to the very end. He'll post up a distance of 3:24 and 47.
It was working hard right from the starting line, and a little bit of inconsistencies off the line, not as smooth as he would have liked it. And so this is a rather methodical pull. It's not that super fast pull that we saw with our leader and the most hated out there, but great application of power, getting it into the ground, sashaying around at the very end of the track, though, as those DOT tires were searching for some good dirt to grip and toss and propel forward.
Most hated with the distance to beat at 3:36 and 61. As we continue on here, this is Jeff Hostler coming also out of Columbia City, Indiana, and the name of the truck, Flirting with Disaster. Wow, and a solid number here for that truck, 3:31 and 99. Jumps right up in there with the hitters for sure, and will end up in second place as it stands now.
Yeah, the whole shot was a little shaky, and I thought he was done for sure with that, but never cut off the Flirting with Disaster truck. It picked up a win in Mound City, and Hostler is a tough driver as well. You know, he always performs well at the Scheid Diesel Extravaganza. I know he hangs out at the Hazley Machine Shop at least a couple times a week, not only getting work done, but getting some pointers as well, and really paying off on the track for him.
Charles Ruckert coming up here next. Ain't cheating yet. Had a great start there and hung on as long as he could, but will lay up just a tick short at 3:23 and 84.
We'll continue on here. It'll be the spooled up machine up next. Craig McElfresh doing the drive-in this weekend, and I had a chance to catch up with him earlier in the pits.
Craig McElfresh has driven a plethora of vehicles throughout his lifetime, including some modified four-wheel drive trucks and some gas trucks. And so how can you use your experience driving those trucks and translate it into the limited pro diesel truck world?
Well, I hope I haven't forgot and I can get all the power we have to the ground. That's all we're trying to do, get the power on top and the tires hooked up. It's been a while since I've drove consistently, so it'll be interesting to see what we can do.
You said it's really important, though, to concentrate on leaving the line at the right time and making sure that you've got everything at the right RPMs and you've got all the power, because the turbo really plays into that.
Yeah, if you're not hit hot enough, if you're not boosted up enough, you're not going to go anywhere. You'll get too hooked up and won't have the power, or you're just plain and simple not going to go anywhere. Blow the tires off, and there you sit.
That window of opportunity is very, very narrow. This one's called spooled up. Duramax just kept on tugging, man. You could hear it hopping down through there. Cost him a little distance, but 3:27 and 89 will be just enough to sneak past Adam Halian's 3:27 and 75 by a little more than an inch and a half for third place.
And he really gets the truck to settle in nice about the 100-foot mark. And he does a great job, too, leaving the line at that power band that he needs. And so he talked about if you leave with your RPMs too low, you're never going to be able to get them back up where you need them to finish strong on the top end. So while it may seem like these guys are really breaking the tires loose off the starting line, they have to do that to leave at the RPMs that they're going to need for the top end.
Here comes a recycled hooker with Derek Amos doing the driving. Drivers in here getting some help from Hazley Machine, Diesel Performance, and he'll go 322 and 61.
And now as we see these trucks kind of all land in the same area, it comes down to doing the little things right. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to stack them all up if you want to be in the top 3. Lots of trucks to go. We'll see if it can change up.
Sun starting to set here at Howard County Fairgrounds at the General Tire Watson Diesel Nationals presented by Rhino Ag. That'll change the atmospheric conditions as well, and the track. As the moisture starts to work its way up, we'll see if this thing gets a little bit better with Kenny Smith coming up here on the Kenny Pulling Parts. Name synonymous with pulling as well. A lot of experience. Six of those DOT tires churning hard right at the very end, 325 and 44.
He'll shake up the order just a little bit there with that run, but it's great to see him back on the track. You know, he pulled for a long time, and then he said he got stuck in the shop just building parts for other people and figured, you know what, I better get back out there and test some of those myself, but also have a little bit of fun out here. And always a tough competitor on the track as well. Love to see the different patterns on those DOTs. I can't say that enough. And a lot of guys will even put a different tire on the front than they will on the duals to try to make sure that they can leave the line really well.
And I'm with you. A lot of the patterns are drastically different. I mean, here's a perfect example of it. The truck we just saw to this one. Adam White coming out here, part of the Hill Brothers camp. Right there out of Adam White. Solid effort at 331 and 25. Misses second place by a mere 9 inches.
Just amazing the power that this truck has. And you can see it was hard to harness in the dirt off the starting line, but once he gets it locked in, it's straight out the end for him. And a great effort, too. The best one we've seen in several hooks. And so it just goes to show out there that the track is consistent out there for these guys. Even though things are changing atmospherically, the sun is going down, there's still good dirt out there for them to find.
How about a brand new Ford, man? That thing looks absolutely beautiful. Dylan Lemke and the genetically modified. Man, take a look at the distance here. All 3 manufacturers right in the thick of it. 324 and 48 for that Ford.
Next up, it will be the Hillbilly Bone Unleashed here. Aaron Bowell doing the driving here for Jesse Knight, who we usually see behind the wheel of the truck supporting the Semper Fi Fund. It's so fun to watch them spool up those big turbos, and man, when they hit, boom, they are there. Distance here, 322 and 96. Yeah, and it's always so cool to see those tires really unleash and just to kick those first big clods of dirt back towards the sled. Yeah, they are violent for sure. Well, up next is Ben Broniker. You talked about him before, and we showed you in the points at the end of 2019. He was the champ. Comes back here looking for more, and Leslie spoke to him.
Ben Broniker took home the championship last year in the Coming At Ya. And, you know, everybody says it's all about being consistent. But for this team, it was all about consistency on the starting line. And so what was it about your method of coming out of the hole last year that really helped you achieve that consistency?
I think the main thing was, you know, whenever you bring in the RPMs up and just get a feel for it, get a feel for where the truck's at, just try to leave as smooth as you can and not just get too excited with it. Just kind of come out nice, easy, and smooth, and mainly get the truck a hold of the track and get down to the end and get the job done.
Were you surprised, last year when you won the championship and that you didn't win a hook all season?
Yeah, I was very surprised. Been doing this Lucas Oil for 10 years, and it feels really good. It's like an accomplishment. So,
Are you going to be able to ride that good feeling into this season, or are you feeling
Yeah.
the pressure of the target?
I feel some pressure on my back, but we're gonna come out and do the best we can and just see what happens.
Great stuff for sure. I'm sure would love to stand on top of that podium here in 2020. Knock that one out of the way as well. And that Dodge is going to end up at 327 and 43. It is the fourth truck inside of the 327 mark.
That's just phenomenal. It just shows you how close these competitors are. One of the reasons why we use that surveyor's laser to measure our distances, and while you guys hear the distances going out to the 100th of a foot, they actually measure to the thousands of a foot because they've actually had ties and they had to go one more decimal point to separate those places.
Well, it's actually a good thing that you bring that up because that number is identical to the Iron Maiden who went 327 and 43 a little bit earlier in the hook. So yeah, they'll carry it out and find whoever went the furthest by just fractions of an inch. As we continue on here, this is Austin White. And the second-hand smoke truck with a few hops there early on is going to cost him a bit at 321 and 74.
And the guys in this category have a tendency to kind of run the same spot on the track. And I wonder here if these guys aren't wearing out the road on that left-hand side of the track just a little bit. They need to move just a little bit farther to the left or a little bit farther to the right to find that good dirt that they need to kick up at the end of the track.
And Dominic Gambino with a solid hook here at 326 and 41, representing the Brothers Diesel.
It's a good-looking machine, but he just labors a little bit on the starting line to make sure that the RPMs are where they need to be before he leaves. And then, man, those hops, they just really hurt the beginning of that run. And so we haven't seen someone with a whole lot of ground speed early on, more methodical hooks here a little bit later in the class. And I think that that's what it's going to take. It's going to take more ground speed than that if you want to kind of put yourself in the top.
Just two trucks left to go inside of the category. There's a look at your top three. Just two trucks yet to go here in the Limited Pro Diesel Truck category at the General Tire Watson Diesel Nationals, presented by Rhino Ag. The mark to beat set by C.W. Cartmel. Most hated truck, 336 and 61, and certainly the most hated out here tonight because everybody wants to beat him. Matt Locks with the Night Howler. And again, some of those hops, but that one closer to the end of the hook at 321 and 75.
And those Duramaxes just sound so much different and such a different beast out here as we come to our final hook of the class. This will be Evan Davis, the gray area truck that he's been really working hard to tune in for the last 3 years.
Aggressive tire pattern on this one. Oh boy, and a solid effort there as he surpasses the 330-foot mark. 330 and 22 will land him just outside of the top three.
Yeah, a little closer to that left sideline. And we talked about the fast runs taking it, but here's a guy who knows his machine and knows what it can throw down, really works that throttle on the starting line and gets the power to the ground, which is what you've got to do out here, and makes the best of his final effort.
Great stuff. What a tough category to come out here and try to win, but so satisfying if you can do so. Loaded up, it's very deep. And of course, there are regional series as well that feature this limited pro diesel truck if you think you'd like to get in there and throw down with the gang. Let's get it over to the podium and talk to third place.
It's the little things that really make a big difference. And for you tonight, Adam, you said that was all about your track position with the Hill Brothers truck.
Yeah, we moved it a little more left towards the end. They were bouncing real bad, taking off. I feel like if we could have got that smoothed out, it would have made a better pass, but I don't know. We'll try again tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get it figured out. I don't know. It started about halfway through the class. They started bouncing, and then I don't know why they were doing that.
Here's a look at the final distance for everybody. CW Cartmel way up top there. A solid effort. Look at second place, man. Separated by just 9 inches, and look how deep this field is with so much talent along the way. Once again, let's go back down to the podium. This time we'll talk to second place and Jeff Hostler.
Flirting with Disaster ends up second here. And Jeff, it really looked like you punished that truck once you hit those bumps on the track to kind of drive through. What were you thinking at that moment?
That moment was either go or back out, and I just went for it. So I was hoping to break the tires loose and get it to smooth out, and it finally did. And it settled in. It seemed like it hooked in good then and took off like a rocket.
And as we kick off the 2020 season, it will be CW Cartmel up top, followed by Jeff Hostler and Adam White. Long season ahead. With plenty of competition, this will typically come down to the last couple of hooks. Let's go down and talk to our winner.
So it's the most hated truck, kind of living up to its name tonight with that mid-hook in the class. And CW, it really seemed like it took a lot of finesse to get it out of the hole tonight.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I got a really good hole shot, got off the line really well. It was smooth, a good solid pass. Track was in good shape, and I was lucky enough to come out with a win. This class is just stacked with good trucks tonight. So, really happy with how it ended up.
And our next class coming up will be the Pro Stock Diesel Trucks. More smoking action on the way.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. Super Clean, not just clean, super clean. And by Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source.
Welcome to Greentown, Indiana, and the General Tire Watson Diesel Nationals presented by Rhino Ag. We're at Howard County Fairgrounds. Once again, we appreciate all the support from Watson Diesel and, of course, the promoter here allowing us to make a last-minute change for a hook that was scheduled to be in Michigan. And unfortunately, we could not hold it there, so down to Indiana we come. And they welcomed us with open arms. Thank you very much. As we continue on here, this is the Pro Stock Diesel Truck category. Corey Funk. And unfortunately, he was in a bit of a funk there at the very beginning of that one. The back of that truck hopping violently, and he'll end up at 3:21 and 11.
Yeah, hangs on during the run as he starts to dance all over the dirt as it starts to get hooked up. And remember, these guys don't have any working brakes to help steer, so it's going to be those front drive tires that have to do the steering for you. It's going to hurt your distance when you have to make major moves like that across the track, though. But he's figuring it out. He made a limited number of hooks in this category just 1 year ago and jumped up from that limited pro class to this pro stock class.
Here's a look at the pulling order and some big names right off the bat with Corey Funk, Nathan Vay, Matt Penn, of course, so solid as you look down through the list and pick your favorite out there. And all these guys, Brad Ingram down there at the bottom, I mean, all of these guys, so much power, so much talent, so much knowledge, all the little things that give you a successful hook out here that you have to pay attention to, and I promise you, they all matter. Jumping Jack Flash coming up here next, driven by Nathan Vay. And looked like a really nice hook, but did not make it to the leaderboard. And he'll lay up a bit short at 313 and 77.
Yeah, it looked like maybe just a little bit different gear, a little bit different RPMs when he left the line. Just didn't get to that top power band that he needed.
As we go back into the season for 2019, it was Brad Ingram who stood on top of the group with that Shy diesel truck, Crosswired and Keith Witt, Matt Penn, some of the names that we just talked about in the pulling order here as well. So I'll give you a good idea who the players were a year ago.
And Matt Penn will be up next. And, it came down to the final hook of the season at the Shy Diesel Extravaganza. For Penn, he had an opportunity to take home a second championship, so I know he's looking for redemption this season.
So the Penn Farms truck had a cracked head going down the home stretch of last season. And so, Matt, how did that impact, your driving and your horsepower band?
Well, yeah, it kind of hurt me on the start, I'm going to tell you. It's the crack, when it's cold, it's bigger. Then when it gets hot, that crack will actually go back closed. So once you get some heat into it, the crack you might say, kind of go away, so your horsepower is all there. But coming out of the hole might have been a little bit different coming out of the hole for me, I think. So made a little bit different driving there. My intercooler there beginning of the season there had a crack in it, so we had to put a new intercooler on it after about 3 or 4 pulls. So it was just kind of, time we got all the bugs out last year, it was about too late.
Yeah, finished up third in the points, had 2 wins on the season, actually earned first place points on 3 different occasions, including the last hook there at Terre Haute. And drives it down through there extremely hard. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a brand new leader, 324 and 95. Solid effort here from Matt Penn.
Yeah, great throttle control off of the line. And so watch those rear tires as you can see the smoke change a little bit. It starts to bounce on him a little bit. He backs out and then gets right back in it. And so really has a good connection with his truck. He's able to feel it and to see how it can hook up and to get the best effort out of his machine. And, he experimented with some tires on day 1 of the pull at Terre Haute. And on day 2, he went back to his old set that he's running this weekend. And that's the ones that yielded him that win.
Interesting for sure as we take a look at Stoney Hargett and the War Machine. When he got after that thing early, for sure, 312 and 99 will be the distance.
And they say one of the hardest things to master in this Pro Stock diesel truck class is the clutch and leaving the line and knowing, what RPMs your vehicle needs to leave the line at, and then releasing that clutch at that optimum point to ease it into the track.
Here comes Andrew Grove and bad timing. And a slow motion version of those hops, and you can physically see the tires loading and unloading. It gives you a great idea of how much it'll actually hurt their distance whenever that's going on, but still yields a 321 and 64 to fall into second place.
And Grove and his team have been fighting this for over a year now, and they made significant changes over the winter to the chassis, to the suspension system, to try to get it to tie into the ground a little tighter so that they would not have that hop issue. And so for this particular truck, I'm not going to say it's the track, I'm going to say it's a truck issue, and I hate it for those guys that they're still battling that into another season.
Yeah, is it the damper program? Is it some flex in the frame? I mean, those guys, I'm sure, are working at it hard, but can get pretty frustrating a year later. Up next, Ivan Harville, and the truck's called Mayhem. And unfortunately for Ivan, he's going to miss it here by a fair amount at 307 and 53.
And those cut tires have so much grip, and these guys are making upwards of 2,000 horsepower trying to drive it in the ground. We're about halfway through the class. Here's a look at your top 3. We've got plenty of players to go.
And we're back here at the General Tire Watson Diesel Nationals presented by Rhino Ag. Up top is Matt Penn in the Penn Farms machine at 324.95. Second and third separated by just 6 inches. It's tight at the top. As we continue on here, this is Brent Meyer and the Lincoln Diesel. Oh, and that GMC is absolutely beautiful, and he's going to jump up into a podium position at 322.81 to take over second place. Now second and third no longer separated by 6 inches.
Yeah, great job leaving the line, getting those RPMs up, leaving, feeling the tires break loose, and then getting right back into it. This will be Keith Witt, the truck he calls Crosswire. Finished second in the points 1 year ago.
Got to put it out there past the 320 mark to be a player here tonight, and unfortunately he's going to miss it by a bit at 312.23.
He's got some new parts on that thing, making some more power, and just really trying to get to know it here at the beginning of the season.
Look at that front tire wrinkled up there as it gets ready to hook all the weight up there before it feels the weight of the sled on the back of the truck. This is Brady Ingram, son of Brad Ingram, and the truck that won the championship a year ago. And sails it down through there. Looked like he had really good ground speed, but the distance will not be enough to play with the leaders here tonight at 3:18.67.
Yeah, very respectable distance, though, for a relative rookie in the category. And so he's a kid, though, that's been working on this machine with his dad for a long time. So he knows the ins and outs of that. And he told me he thinks that's really going to help him with his driving as it progresses, because he knows how it's going to hook up and how it should hook up. And if he can just transfer that into his throttle control, he says he thinks he'll be okay.
Yeah, for sure. Just a little seat time, and he'll be able to put it all together. 2 trucks yet to go inside of the category. Norman Newswanger coming up here next, and the truck called Chapter 11. Good speed, but will lay up just a little bit short there at the end, 3:17.16.
Yeah, and I think that he saw all the other trucks that really had issues off the starting line, really bouncing, and so he's very, very patient off the starting line before he goes full throttle. And I think that while he does get his ground speed up there about the 150-foot mark, it's just a little bit too late, and he just doesn't have the RPMs that he needs to finish strong.
So that beautiful green Ford pickup will pull off the track out of the way. That will bring up our final truck. We'll have him in just a moment. In the meantime, there's a look at your top 3.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by General Tire, anywhere is possible. Rhino Ag, born to lead. And by Lucas Oil, keep that engine alive.
One truck yet to go here at the General Tire Watson Diesel Nationals, presented by Rhino Ag. We're at Howard County Fairgrounds in Greentown, Indiana. A lot of humidity in the air up here in northern Indiana. Take a look at that gorgeous truck. That is Carl Butler, and the truck called Ranch Hand. Showed up one time on the Champions Tour last year and grabbed a 3rd place at Terre Haute. Leslie spoke to him.
some significant changes in store this year for the ranch hand. And so, Carl, what made you decide to switch your system up this year, and what did you go with?
Well, we went to a 24 valve instead of a 12 valve. After talking with Hazley and some of my crew members, we figured there'd be some significant changes and great advantages to going to a 24 valve. So we went, and the truck stayed there for about 3 months, and now we're going to try it for the first time today.
So how much horsepower do you think that you gained with that? And do you think you're going to be able to apply it into the track?
Well, yes, I think we got a good combination because we also changed the hitch this year in it also. So we probably gained about 150 horsepower. And I think that with the new hitch design and some other adjustments that we've made, I think we can get the power to the track.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you start adding horsepower, you have to start solidifying and changing other parts of the truck to ensure that you can get that power into the ground.
Into making that truck look as beautiful as it does, and certainly worthy of being at any car show across the land. And he'll come out here and put it to work in the dirt. 3:19 and 11. Pretty good effort there for the first time out in that new combination.
Yeah, a beautiful job of slipping the clutch and really getting it hooked up to the track out there and sailing on through the end. I think he's really got to be happy with that effort. Even though he does do a little bit of sliding at the end, it's still a very solid pass for the truck.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Great looking ride, and that'll wrap things up here for the Pro Stock Diesel Truck category. In third place will be Andrew Grove. Solid effort for the Bad Timing Machine. Let's go to the podium and talk to him.
The Bad Timing truck picks up third tonight. And Andrew, were you really surprised at the off-the-wreck performance here of your brand new piece?
Yeah, you can't be much happier, getting in the top 3-5 of a new chassis. We only ran it 3 times this year, and it worked real good for us. We got data, and we were early hooked, so I think that helped some. But, hey, you can't complain in the top couple trucks. It's awesome.
And here's a look at the final results with Matt Penn laying it down. How about the 2018 champ going after it already? Brent Meyer, Andrew Grove, all in the top 3. Corey Funk and Carl Butler right there at the very end. That 3:19 and 11 will end up inside of the top 5. Let's go down and talk to second place, Brent Meyer.
A total team effort here tonight for you guys, Brent. And, what were some of the things that you guys were looking at that kind of helped you here with your hook tonight?
We were just looking at mainly where guys were running, a little bit of shine, a little bit of gloss on the track. And I think we picked a pretty good line. We had a good draw, and we had to be pretty happy with it. We had the truck about 2 days ago running, and hadn't run it at all season yet, and feel it ran pretty well.
And as we take a look at the points here, it is Matt Penn up top, the 2018 champ who put together 4 wins that year and a total of 5 podiums, hoping he can duplicate that effort here in 2020. We'll get it down to the podium and talk to Matt Penn. What a way to kick off the season.
Well, tonight it was really about the hole shot for you, Matt Penn, and you said the track was a little bit deceiving. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, it had a lot more hook than I really thought it was going to have. I gave it a little bit more extra, about 400 more RPM than I do lots of times, and it took it, and it just about snuffed it the way it was. So I had to work my clutch pretty hard there for just a bit, and I hit her pretty hard there, and it worked out. It got a good hole shot and got some momentum up. That's what it takes, that hole shot, get some speed up.
Absolutely, and you guys pick up a great win tonight. I know you and your team couldn't be more excited about it.
Oh yeah, six pulls that we get this year, so every pull is going to be important to do as best you can.
Never miss a hook. Go to propulling.com/set reminder to add all of the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League airings to your personal calendar. Receive a calendar reminder minutes before each event airs.
It's great to be out here at Greentown, Indiana. We certainly appreciate all their help. Remember, for the latest, you can keep up with everything at propulling.com. Hope you enjoyed all the great truck and tractor pulling here. We are so glad to be up and running once again in this crazy, crazy year. For Leslie Mears, I'm Ken Stout. Thanks for watching the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League.